I came from the agency world. I was with IPG for a number of years and WPP before that. And when I joined Nielsen, I saw a lot of value in the assets that Nielsen had that agencies were completely unaware of. So my job and my focus is really kind of expanding the understanding of what Nielsen is, what Nielsen does, and how we can help agencies add value to their advertiser clients.
So when you talk about opportunity in 2015, can you touch on some of the things that maybe the agencies didn't know that Nielsen could provide that really would add value to the
Sure.
advertisers?
I think there are a couple of areas of focus. First, there's a significant business objective or need for cross-platform measurement. Because of the fragmentation of audiences, because of the new business models that are emerging, you really have to have a consistent measure across device types. And Nielsen's mission, quite frankly, is to be able to measure total audience for both content and campaigns across devices, across platforms for video, audio, and text, and to be able to facilitate or support both ad models, linear and DAI.
So when you look at the convergence of digital and TV and how video is just becoming video, you know, that measurement's obviously a huge piece. Where does Nielsen see that going, and do you see that being bifurcated and becoming a single piece with some of the new ratings that you guys have used, and so what's the adoption?
Yeah, that's a great question. The reality is that it's based on the way that consumers are consuming content, right? And advertisers are trying to engage or intercept the consumer at those specific points. And it doesn't really matter on what device or what platform or what ad model. They want to get their message out in front of the consumer. Agencies are challenged in that that information is often siloed, the measurement's been different, so planning to achieve a business objective or a campaign objective, which might be extending their reach to an audience beyond what they're capturing on linear television or traditional advertising, or it might be increasing the frequency to that same audience across other platforms, and both of which have been shown to be much more effective in driving both resonance, the perception change or awareness of an ad or a brand, and reaction, the willingness or intent to buy, right? So helping them plan is also something that I think Nielsen is focused on. We've got a partnership with PointLogic. We're taking our reach, resonance, and reaction data, normative data, making it available through fusions and other data sets within planning tools so that you can now start planning unduplicated reach across screens, which is something that we've not ever been able to do before.
So, I mean, that's kind of a holy grail, right?
Yeah,
to be able to get to unduplicated reach. So what would that mean for the industry, and how far off do you think we are from being able to really measure that appropriately?
Right now, we can measure it on a campaign basis with our cross-platform campaign ratings, right, or XCR. The interesting thing is that when you look at the results of XCR campaigns, and again, if the objective is either to extend reach or to improve the frequency, what we're seeing more often than not is random duplication. The fact that it's not being planned together is part of that reason. You know, if I plan my TV buy and then the digital guys try to add on top of that, why shouldn't there be anything other than random duplication, right? So bringing OCR normative data into the planning process along with the rich TV data that we already have and making that available to plan is, I think, going to help substantially. So we can measure unduplicated reach on a campaign basis. What I'm talking about gets us to an unduplicated reach curve across screens.
So how much of that is an education process to get the agencies to understand that buying mechanism, or how much of it is to get advertisers and publishers on the same page so that they understand that TV and digital have to be in the same conversation?
I think there are a couple of things that are getting in the way of that. A lot of people talk about taking TV dollars and moving them to digital. I actually think that there are dollars sitting on the sidelines that aren't coming into digital because there are issues with fraud, viewability, and a number of other things. You talk about measurement. Well, what is it that we're measuring? Are we measuring an impression, an on-target delivery of an impression, a viewable on-target delivery of an impression, or are we looking at an ad that actually worked and changed someone's perception or influenced them to buy the product? That's ultimately what we want to be able to measure. That other stuff is noise that's getting in the way.
So, final question, one company other than your own in 2015 that you think is interesting?
Adobe. We have a partnership with Adobe that I think is going to help both of our organizations deliver on that promise of total audience measurement.